Hello everyone, my name is MaxMIY and today I'm going to be covering a game in the KPZ 70. Now the KPZ 70 is a very interesting armor profile, particularly because of something it can do with its lower plate. Now as everybody knows, a tank has a strong upper plate, usually, and a weak lower plate. However, and at first glance that might seem to be the case for the KPZ 70 ton. However, there is an interesting thing you can do with it. If you angle it like such, the lower plate becomes a ricochet. And that is very important because of the way that you can back up. See, if you're facing the enemy like so, or maybe you're poking a wall, right? The enemy sees this lower plate, and as you're moving back, if you turn your tank, you are more likely to bounce the shell of the enemy. That's the first thing that you want to know. Second thing you want to know about the KPZ is that you have two weak spots that you might not really understand. First is this triangular cutout on the side of the turret. That is a penetration. If you shoot, you will be if you are shot at here, you will be penetrated there. And second is if you're showing this little rear spot, it can also be penetrated. With the armor profile of the KPZ out of the way, let's get into the replay. I must apologize, I do not have the audio for this battle. I thought I'd recorded it, and so I removed the replay from my saved files. However, I unfortunately didn't, so we're going to be in silence. So you're just going to have my commentary. Now, on this map, there's really two positions. The first is the hill, where some people like to go, and the spot that I like to call Peter KW spot. If you watch Peter, you know that he almost always will go to the position I'm about to take. And this for good reason. It's because from this position which I'm about to take, you are able to get much more damage than you are otherwise able to at the hill. So for now, the battle, we spot an E100 VC55 Type 71 ML2, and we have a medium, their enemy medium on the hill, and a light tank on the other side of the map. Now, unfortunately, that first shell bounced the E100, but luckily he also bounced me, leaving me to try and hit this Type 71 in that corner cutout, and then try to switch to his turret as I notice that he begins backing up. Unfortunately, again, not being able to penetrate. So, okay, that's fine. I know there's an E100 there. Let's go and try to get him again. He fires, so I'm not really scared of his retaliatory response, even if he does turn his gun towards me. With that shot, I'm able to back up, and all is good. So now I've dealt 500 damage, received none. What is my game plan going to be? What am I thinking? Well, I'm looking over at that Emil 2, and I really want to shoot him. Thankfully, this shot is able to connect. That was a little bit risky since I could have just hit his track and nothing else might have happened. However, luckily I am able to penetrate that. I then refocus my attention on the E100, switching first to heat and then back to AP, knowing that I would be able to get that shell out, activating tungsten. Now, with tungsten, you really want to activate it when you're certain that you are going to hit the shell. And that is something a lot of people misunderstand about the way that this consumable should be used. You only ever use it when you are confident in a penetration. That is simply the best way to use it. Do not try to use it on shells that are iffy, jiffy, or might hit or might not. It's just never a good idea. However, while I was able to bounce that first shell on the 183, I unfortunately do get penetrated there, and this was really stupid of me as well, as that little crack in the rocks is something that the enemies exploited. So now I have an E100 rushing at me. For some reason, I find myself loading high explosive. I have a Type 71 on my sort of rear. I have a FV2 and I have a FV183 sitting in the back, meaning I can't push past the E100. I have the E100 aiming in at me, and now I have the Type 71 shooting me on my side, and I can't back up, and I have a VZ55, and moreover, I am now on a tremendously low amount of hit points. Somehow, luckily, I'm able to hit the VZ55, and the situation does not look great for me. This ML2 has previously been able to shoot me, so I am unsure of the angle I should take and how I should present myself. However, that shell was very interesting because of something called shell arc. Now, if you've ever tried or learned about projectiles, if you're trying to hit something that's far away, you have to sort of throw it up. And by throwing it up, it's eventually going to curve and hit where you want it to. Think of throwing a baseball. Now, the interesting thing is that shell works the exact same way, and the physics in the game work also the exact same way. And though I didn't have enough gun depression to hit the crane, what I was able to do is, based on the momentum of my tank going down, I was able to shoot in a way that that curve made the shell go lower than the depression levels of my gun, simply because I thought I was shooting straight ahead. That might not make sense to a lot of people, but those who do know will be able to appreciate it. But okay, now I'm left in the situation where I have a full health 183, that shell somehow bounced, and I have a one-shot concept helping me as well. And I got stuck on that barricade originally when I was trying to go down. So okay, I had a little bit left on my reload, but I decide it's safer to go down. This 183 for some reason refuses to follow me, though that should have been his first instinct. So I turn around and start climbing the hill to get a shot off at him. Mind you, I am now at 4,900 damage. And this 183 is sort of facing me. So I'm able to get one shell in, and now I back up. And now I'm hoping against hope that I am able to get that reload before he comes to me. And now look at this. I think that I am safe, but no. I was so certain that he didn't have the gun depression to do that, and yet he was able to. And now finally, the Concept 1B rushes in and is able to clear him, giving us the victory and me about 6,000 damage. And that brings me the ace. Now in this game, you saw the capabilities of the KPZ and honestly, more or less how to handle high pressure situations. With that out of the way, thank you very much for watching my video. See you next time. Bye-bye.